there a rookie quarterback you've been most impressed with?
Well, it's interesting. I'm impressed with some of them in different ways. I mean, Jayden Daniels has obviously shown the ability situationally to rise to the occasion. When you watch him and you watch every snap like I do and sit with a remote clicker in my office, quarterbacks that are very good with their legs and that leave the pocket and make plays with their legs, they're always going to leave some throws on the field,
right,
because they leave the pocket early at times. And you just have to, I think, live with that. I don't think you're coaching them out of moving. Great quarterbacks in our league like Josh Allen, Mahomes, they leave the pocket early at times as well. And you're not going to tell them not to do that. That's kind of built into their DNA. And I think Daniels is cut from the same cloth. So there'll be some throws he leaves on the field. But yet, this past week, for instance, was a great example where his legs kind of took over the game. I think Drake May has...
Okay. Well, let's keep it on Jayden Daniels, because he said he dropped some things cut from the same cloth as Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. It's some pretty high praise. He said it subtly. He just kind of casually dropped it. He's not one for theatrics. He's not dropping banners or anything. But, that's pretty great to hear. I was thinking about this. My mind works in such weird ways. I don't even care, man. I accept it. Just is what it is. But, Jayden Daniels feels like a guy who's already lived an entire life. He's 80 years old. And, I don't know, man. Pick your genre. But he somehow was zapped back into the body of, a 24-year-old or something. Where they were like, oh, you want to be able to do your life all over again? Okay, here you go. And he just gets to, go back. Because there's just such a depth of poise and maturity that I actually find frustrating. I would be if I had that when I was his age, man, it'd be a wrap. I would be so successful. I'd be so dominant in my life. Things that I would have been able to accomplish would have been legendary. But I didn't have it. I really didn't. Anytime I look back at, any window in time for me, and I encourage everyone to do this. So you look back at the last 3 years, last 5 years, and it's every chunk of time, I'm always oh my God, I can't believe this is how I thought. Oh my God, I can't believe this was my emotional maturity. I'll recall certain discussions I've had, relationships, interactions with family, friends, parents, children, whatever. And I'm just oh my God, that's how my mind works. And it gives me a lot of gratitude to be I survived that, because things could have gone terribly wrong with that mentality, really badly. And it's through all that process, through that maturity, that I'm okay. And so to see that with Jayden, to see him be able to just, seemingly live for it, it feels like a guy who's been given the opportunity to relive his glory days of his youth, but now have the maturity and the understanding and the intelligence and the experience to be able to really appreciate it and take advantage of it. Do you know how amazing of a human being you'd be if you could go back in time and be 20 years old again or whatever, 50, even 15, just go back through it again? Because what you now know and your experience is just going to just give you an insane amount of experience, an insane amount of success. And that's, to me, what Jayden Daniels reminds me of, honestly. It's just, and like I said, I find it frustrating. I'm no, why does he have that? Why didn't I have that? And it's just so impressive, and it can't be understated. We could talk about his legs. We could talk about his mobility. We could talk about his ability to throw, his ability to overcome adversity, his ability to play big time in big moments and all of that. I've said that 10,000 times throughout this whole season. And it's been amazing to watch, truly. But I think when you are that exciting of a player, some of these other aspects, and they're not even intangibles necessarily, right? We when you see his level of maturity and his poise and his emotional regularity, because as much as I even praise Bo Nix for his seriousness and his intensity, and things like that, and even Jalen Hurts to a different degree, where he's so stoic, he's so kind of he's emotionally stable no matter what happens. I think in a lot of ways, I love how Jayden Daniels does it the most, because it's actually what I relate to the most. I go back and forth when I think about not only who I was as a player, but then also what I would want to be around, or what I wanted as the lead, if someone was the leader for the team, or if I was the leader for a specific team. And I think really, for me, at the end of the day, Jayden Daniels is what makes me the most comfortable, because I know he cares so much and I know he wants to do everything he can, but he's not creating the environment. He is a leader of the team, but he's not the leader of the team because he's a rookie. You won't really be able to truly be that guy probably for another like 2 or 3 years. It does take time, unless he leads the team next year to like a Super Bowl or something and wins the MVP. Then it really expedites it. But you do need just a little bit more experience to really command that presence where people can have like unconditional. I mean, heck, even to some degree, Patrick Mahomes still doesn't even have it, which is bonkers to me because he absolutely should. And I'll never not look at Rashee Rice for yelling at him on the sideline of the Super Bowl. I'll never. That will always be indefensible to me. And and again, Diggs going like this to Josh Allen is always like, are you serious right now? Like, what are you doing here? But I think the energy that Jayden Daniels brings is just something that people, one, will want to see succeed, will want Jayden to be successful. And that is such an awesome foundation to have when you're leading a team, that the team wants to see you succeed. They don't resent it. They don't think that you think that they're better, that you're better than them. Like, you have this of like, I want to see you succeed. Baker Mayfield has definitely grown to be a leader, but when his time with the Browns, like, you did not have other players and teammates that wanted him to succeed. It was very obvious, and he could not lead in that way. And his energy and his mentality, it's definitely working more now with the Buccaneers, and it took some time, but like it was quick to abandon ship. You have Jayden Daniels with the personality that people absolutely start to finish, top to bottom, left to right, all want him to succeed. They want him to reach the highest levels. So they are also going to play as hard as they can. They're also going to feel comfortable. They don't feel like they're in a pressure cooker. They don't feel like if they drop a ball, run a wrong route, whatever it may be, that it's like, great, I'm not going to touch the ball now until next year, right? Like, you don't have that energy. And I love that. I am not the type of person that thrives in a pressure cooker situation. I'm not. But I also don't want things to be too loose either, because I care a lot. I like to smile and be intense. Like, I'm both. It's like, let's go. I want to scream and bring all the intensity that I can. But other times I also just want to like be completely stoic and be like, yeah, of course I did that. I'm amazing. I don't need to tell anyone or remind anyone. I just do what I do. And there's other times that I want to be ear to ear, smile, laughing, getting rid of nerves and all of that. And I think that's what Jayden Daniels is able to kind of do it all, right? He makes a bad throw, someone else drops it. It's kind of like, all right, it's not, come on. Like, it's just, there's just different energy to it. And again, you might be able to experience this in your own life, whether it's through bosses, family, whatever. Like, you can feel that energy even if you didn't play sports at a high level. But I think it really matters when you're talking about things that deal with performance. And that's something that I honestly really, really, really love what Jayden brings to that. And I really don't think it should even go remotely underappreciated or understated, because I promise you, it matters so much. It matters so much more than I think the average person could ever really appreciate it. And that's why I love the trio that they have right now with Quinn, Kingsbury, and Jayden Daniels, because I think their personalities all match perfectly. Because I think in a lot of ways, all three of those guys are very similar in that regard. So it's really kind of perfect. But, I will say Cliff Kingsbury will leave. And I said this earlier, and a lot of Commanders fans were not happy about it. And Commanders fans keep trying to fight me in the comments section. He's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. He said he doesn't want to go anywhere. And then literally like a couple days ago, Cliff Kingsbury's like, I want to be a head coach one of these days again. I do want to be a head coach. And it's like, of course he does. All of these guys, they want redemption, especially the way how things ended with the Cardinals and whatnot. So that is a thing. But fortunately, having such a great coordinator so early on in Jayden Daniels' career will not only help build a great foundation, so he'll be more resilient to kind of different coordinators coming his way, but also the high level of success that Jayden has had, one, kind of already shows the blueprint of what a future coordinator will be able to do, and two, another high-level coordinator is going to be like, I want that guy. I got to get to the Commanders. I got to get to the Commanders. I got to be with Jayden Daniels. Jayden Daniels is my ticket to being a head coach one day, right? So, like, you're going to get all hands on deck. Let's go, let's go. So, you know, I think either way, it'll still end positively and still unfold positively, you know, for the Commanders and Jayden Daniels especially. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Washington Commanders and Jayden Daniels? What do you think has impressed you most about Jayden? You know, it could be his accuracy, it could be his mobility, it could be his poise, you know, whatever. I took it in one direction, you know, whether you agree with that or not. Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.